Hi friends, welcome back. It is the start of another reading vlog, and this one is very exciting because this is all Halloween themed. I'm reading only spooky books, my cat's joining, I have spooky decorations, and I have some fun Halloween themed activities that we're gonna do together. I love Halloween. It is one of my favorite. His butt is just in the camera. Maybe he'll lay down. Halloween is one of my favorite times of the year. I love when it starts getting cold. I love when people are dressing up. I love seeing kids trick-or-treating. That sounded a little weird, but it's so fun. I love festivities. And today, you might not be able to tell from my full fit, I am channeling some Bella Swan. Let's see, we can get the pants in the fit. No, yes, I'm wearing some nice green pants. And I don't know, I just feel very Bella today. It's very dreary. It's like 50 degrees, finally. But let's get into the books that I'm going to be reading. I'm kind of cheating on this one just a smidge because some of the books I'm already currently reading just totally go with the theme, so I have to include them. And we're going to start off with the first one, which is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I'm listening to this on Spotify, Audible, whatever you want to call it, audiobook. And I am obsessed with it so far. I've heard about the hype. I haven't actually read or listened to it before, so this is my first read on it. And I get the hype already. I'm not even, let's see how far I am. I'm on chapter 7, so I'm not even that far in, and I'm into it. So that is number 1. Number 2 is, let's see, I should have prepped this a little bit better. I have been in my current Harry Potter reread era, and it is the perfect season. You can go either way. You can either do Halloween or Christmas. Big debate. Harry Potter, in my opinion, is both Halloween and a Christmas book, but I am currently reading, what am I on? The Goblet of Fire. So as we can see, my lovely book that I'm reading on my Kindle, The Goblet of Fire. And I'm almost done with this one, so this one's gonna be the one I finish first, for sure. I'm on chapter 27. I'm 67% in. I have less than 100 pages left, so that's gonna be easy. This one feels extra like Halloween for me for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but next we have, this is very ambitious. I have a lot of books that I'm listing here. I know for a fact I won't get through all of them, but I like to set myself up for failure. This is The Invocation by Crystal Sutherland. She's such a spooky author. I loved something House of Hollow, I think is what it's called. One of the first books I read where I was kind of spooked out at night, I had trouble, I didn't want to turn the lights off. That might sound babyish, but there's something about her writing that is just very spooky, immersive, bordering yeah, it's reads as a fairy tale, but also that could totally happen to someone in my brain. And then next I have Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I've never read a Riley Sager book, but I have heard good things. I haven't read an adult thriller in a while, so I'm excited about this one. And this is about a girl in an apartment, I believe. Yeah, her dream apartment, her worst nightmare. So I'm very excited. And of course, I'll go more in depth on what they're about when I'm actually reading them, but this is just our gist at the beginning. And lastly, I have a graphic novel. This is Squad by Maggie Takuta Hall and Lisa Sturl. And this is about a group of girls and there's werewolves, and I'm in my, what is it, True Wolf? No, True Wolf? Teen Wolf. I'm truly in my Teen Wolf era, so I'm obsessed with wolves right now. I don't know what it is. So that is my very ambitious TBR for this vlog. And then I have, like I said, some fall activities for us to do, but let's just get into it. I think I'm going to listen to I always get the name mixed up. The Very Secret Society? Yes, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches while I'm working on a little crochet project, which is one of also my competing hobbies. reading, crocheting, and knitting, they all fight for space in my brain. So I'm doing both at the same time. I'm going to work on my crochet project and I'm going to be listening to my book. I'm currently making a little book sleeve, so it's bookish themed, so we'll take a look at the end, but that's what I'm going to do. I have my project. So fun. Look how cute. I have my audiobook, and I'm ready to hunker down in my chair and sit here for the foreseeable future. But before I read, I just wanted to give you a little update on what is happening and just what the book is about in general. And again, I'm listening to The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and it is about a witch named Mika Moon, and in this world, witches cannot like congregate because their power like increases, and because of this, they're all very like lonely people. They don't really interact very often, especially they lose this sense of community because they aren't allowed to be friends with each other or hang out. It's just one of the rules that was created to avoid being exposed. So Mika goes online and creates an account where she pretends to be a witch, and so she's essentially a YouTubing witch who does magic but pretends that it's fake. And she is discovered by people who live in Nowhere House, which is the house in the magical land. I think it's in Brighton. Brighton is where this is all based. And in Nowhere House, she gets contacted by someone who says like, hey, we have 3 children witches and they need guidance and to be taught. So she goes there to check it out, and she's like, no way that this is actually true. And it happens to be true, and these 3 girls who were adopted by the person at Nowhere House, I can't remember her name, Lydia, I think, and she adopts these 3 girls. They live at the house, and they all happen to be witches. If I'm getting anything wrong, and if you've read this before, I'm sorry, but this is the gist I'm getting so far. But she accepts this job offer there where she lives there, and she's going to teach the 3 young girls how to be witches. There's also other characters, including like people who live at the house. There's an archaeologist, the librarian, which is definitely the love interest. It's gonna be like a hate to love, I feel. That's just what I'm getting. I don't actually know if there's really romance in this. I think there is, but I think the whole concept is that it is found family. She comes here and she finds a sense of community, though she's technically breaking the rules because these 3 girls are also breaking the rules because they're congregated together and living together, and she's now also living with them to teach them magic as well. Well, to control their magic. So I am at the point where Mika lives in Nowhere House. She's moved in, and her and the librarian had a rocky start. And I'm trying not to, this isn't super spoilery, this is very like broad level, but she's at Nowhere House. Her and Jamie have come to, the librarian have come to a sort of truce where he didn't like her at first because he's very protective of the 3 little girls, and she is starting her magic lessons with them. So I am very excited to see how this progresses, because in the synopsis on the back it says like, something bad comes and does something, and she has to choose to protect her found family. So I'm intrigued to see what the bad is, because so far it doesn't seem like there's nothing nefarious going on. It doesn't seem like there's nothing bad, other than that they're obviously breaking the rules, that they're not allowed to all congregate. But I'm very much enjoying it so far. It's so cute, and I'm a huge fan of found family. So that's where I'm at. I think I've already said, but I'm like chapter 7, so I'm going to listen and work on my project and see how it goes, because I love Mika. And while I was looking up what the synopsis of the book, she has, the author has another book coming out in April, and I will be picking it up. It looks like a spring witchy book, at least that's what I'm getting from the cover, so I'm definitely down for it. next day. I pretty much just finished my book sleeve. That's what I did. I'm trying to think of what I did. I finished my book sleeve and it's so cute. It's way bigger. Not way bigger, but it's definitely bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I think I want to make another one, but make it like just a smidgen smaller. But it just opens and then you put your little book in here and then you tie it closed. It's so adorable. I'm obsessed with it. And it was actually like really quick and easy to make, which was amazing. But I also read more of, the whole time I was doing that, pretty much I listened to the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. We'll see if by the end of this, if I can actually get the name correct. But I am at, what am I at? I have 3 hours and 27 minutes left. I'm at like the 70% point. So I'm very close to finishing it. Just an update on it as a whole is that there's not really like anything going on. I know it sounds like weird, but I still am very much enjoying it. It is not a plot heavy book. It's like more character driven, which I usually don't. I feel like I more lean towards reading plot books. So I'm very much enjoying that it's not like, it doesn't read like a normal setup where it's like intro, something horrible happens, and then, and like in romances, which I don't know if this is technically categorized as romance, there's like the third act conflict. I haven't reached anything like that yet. I mean, nothing's even happened. The love interests, if they are, haven't gotten together yet, so. But I do love she does this like really amazing way of writing just like the connections between people, and Mika is just so sweet. Her whole life, like, she has felt like a lack of community, and like obviously she's not obviously, but she was an orphan, so she never really had a family, and the woman who raised her didn't really raise her. It was like she had a bunch of nannies. It was like a revolving door. And so she never made like family connections. So this is just like the most perfect found family in the sense of that it's like the little girls and the other people in the house. So it's like truly like there's children, there's adults, like and a lot of the adults are like very old, like 80 years old. So I love the way that like just all of the connections are made and how sweet it is, and I honestly don't mind that literally nothing has happened. I mean, stuff has happened, obviously. It's like they're doing stuff and they're learning magic and she's being a teacher, but there hasn't been any like crazy stuff happening. Like, I feel like if any of these things didn't happen, it wouldn't change the like plot of the story. But I'm definitely, my plans for today, I'm going to finish it because I only have 3 hours left, so I'm just going to listen to the rest of it today. And then I read a little bit more of The Goblet of Fire last night, and I am at, where am I at? I'm like almost to the third trial. Are they called trials? Competitions? I can't remember what they call them, but I'm almost to the third one, so which is the final one. I'm so close. I'm like 75% until I'm finished. So I honestly will probably finish that today too, which is gonna be nice. I'm gonna knock 2 out, and then I think I want to read what is it? Squad. For some reason my brain when I read it the first time was Squid, and I was like, that can't be right. I want to read Squad, the graphic novel, because I think it'll be a nice palette cleanser from the 2 physical books. And then I'm gonna get into Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. That's my plan. I don't know if all of that's gonna happen today, but I do know that I'm most likely gonna finish the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches and The Goblet of Fire. So that's what I'm gonna do. I have a reading update. I finally finished the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and no, that didn't take me multiple takes to actually say the title of the book correctly. That was my first try, so proud of myself. But my thoughts on it so far, I guess not so far, of me processing finally finishing it, I really liked it. it is not like, don't pick it up thinking like, oh, I can't wait to read about this crazy plot and all this stuff that's going on. It's not gonna happen. There is like zero plot. Nothing is happening, but in the best way possible. It is just like so cozy and just sweet, and it's very character driven, and it mostly just focuses on Mika's just like finding her place in the world. And I love the just whole concept in the story of they're pushing this idea that I don't know if I want to call it an idea, but they're pushing just this concept that being different and maybe abnormal is fine, and you can, that kind of makes who you are. If you have something that's different about you and you love it so much, like, there's nothing wrong with that, and that can be part of your personality, and that can just define you as a person. And for some people it might, and some people it does, but that's okay either way. And they played that really well with the topic of like, if a witch, like, let that, like, her being a witch and magic define her personality and her as a person, versus like Mika, who felt as if she couldn't, like, she couldn't see herself without magic. That is her whole life and her whole person, and I don't, like, she didn't feel bad about it or anything like that. So I really liked that. And I also liked there was this part where Jamie, and I don't know, this is not a spoiler, obviously. I think it's like all in the book, and it's pretty obvious who the love interest is going to be. And it's really not romance driven. Don't read this book if you're looking for a romance, because there is a romance, but it is a tiny, tiny, tiny part of the story. But she is like talking to him, and she's like, would you still, I don't know if they like say love or whatever, but she was like, would you still love me if I wasn't a witch? And he says no. And I thought that was so sweet, because it was just showing that that is her, and she's made it very obvious that like that's a big part of her life. So he's saying he loves her as she is, and she's always felt like she couldn't make connections because of the fact she couldn't tell anyone she was a witch, and finally she could. So I really liked it. Big fan. I will read the next book when it comes out. I don't think it's a series, but I will read the author's next book when she releases it, because I loved the way she like told the story and the characters, so I'm invested. Wow, I need to take a breath after that. I just rambled on. I didn't think I was going to feel so passionate about it, but I recommend. It's not very, I know it's like witches and stuff. It didn't really fit the vibe of like a Halloween vlog, but it had witches, whatever, it was close enough. But I'm also, the update on Goblet of Fire, I know I said I was going to finish it. I still haven't finished it. I don't know why. The last like 30 pages are just dragging so slow for me. But they are in the third task, which is what they're called. I think I was calling them trials, but the third task. And I'm so close to being done. Like, I'm almost finished. This is a spoiler if you've never read or seen the movies, but Cedric just died. We are in the graveyard. The third trial or task is practically over. So I'm just in that part waiting for, essentially, Harry to get back to Hogwarts. So I'm very, very close to finishing it. I'm hoping to finish it today. But I did, this was unexpected, start listening to Lock Every Door. Is that what it's called? Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I don't think I'm going to finish it in this vlog because I still have a few hours left. I am into it so far. I'm not halfway yet. I'm probably like a quarter through the story. And so far I like the way it's read. I've tried listening to another Riley Sager book and I couldn't get into it. This one I'm much more interested, but also like it's kind of odd. Like it doesn't feel like there's really anything going on. Like you're supposed to, it's okay. I didn't even explain what the story's about, but Lock Every Door is about a girl who, she just got out of a relationship, she's in between houses, and she gets offered this job to apartment sit at a like rich and wealthy elite apartment complex in Manhattan. And they're paying her like a crazy amount of money. Her friend is like, no way, this is super sketchy. There's no way that this is legit. And she just ignores that and she goes and does it anyways. but they're kind of like leading up to that this apartment is like supposed to be spooky, or not spooky, but like scary, has eerie vibes. But like I don't get that from the way the story's being told. And maybe that's the point, but I don't see it as like I don't see the apartment as anything creepy or nefarious. And this is also on the back of the book, it's not a spoiler. One of the girls who's also an apartment sitter she meets there goes missing, and she is like looking into it, and that's kind of the point I'm at right now, where the girl just went missing. She's investigating to see like what's going on, where is she, is there something bad happening? But it like is supposed to make it, I know they're setting up these different characters. It's not gonna, I don't know if it's gonna be like a who's done it, but like they're setting up these different characters. She's trying to find a killer. That's like what the back of the book says. I don't know if they're insinuating that Ingrid is dead, possibly. But I am liking it so far. It also doesn't feel super, like I don't feel like on the edge of my seat about it. Like I'm not like, oh, what's happening or what's gonna happen next. It's just kind of like I like the way it's being told, and I really like the narrator who's reading it. So I've just been into it and listening to it. End of reading updates. I'm done. I'm done with the reading. That's it, guys. That's the last time I ever pick up a book. But no, I am going to take a break, though. I have a little craft I want to do, and I definitely have the too much gene inside of my body where I want to make a bookmark, or like bookmarks in general. So I bought an exorbitant amount of supplies to make a bookmark. So I'm going to make a spooky little Halloween bookmark, and I'm very excited about it. I have like little sparkly clear paper to like laminate the bookmark. I got little tassels. I even got a corner rounder for paper. So I'm gonna have a fun time. Well, we are, because we're doing this together. So that's what I'm gonna get into. I'm gonna make myself a fun little bookmark. I made a design, so I'll show my process of what I did. I made a little Canva file. So I made my little design in Canva. I printed a bunch of them just because I didn't want to like waste the paper for nothing. So, but this is such a weird angle. Not a fan. Here she is though. She's so cute. I have to peek around so I can see. But I did like these little postage stamps, like a kitty and mushrooms and a little moon. For some reason my printer is giving me like lines in my printing. Unsure why that's happening, but I don't care to figure it out right now because these are just for me. So, but I'm gonna cut them up and I'm gonna start like doing that little laminating process. Even though it's like, it's not like a laminator, it's just like sticky paper essentially. So my bookmark is finished. She's so cute. I know realistically there was probably like a way better way for me to do most of the process that I just did. But for my first time ever making a bookmark, I think she's very cute. You can see she has like the little reflective, and I put a little gold tassel on it. I'm proud of myself. I like her. I think she's cute. She's definitely like floppy. But I don't know how you cure that. Maybe like thicker paper or doing like 2 pieces of paper? I don't know. But I like it. I think she's so cute. And it's just for me. And I made 4 of them, so if they get ruined, I have multiple backups. But I love her. She's so cute. She's gonna go right over here. Actually, I'm gonna use her for my reading, which I am going to read. Let me grab it. My hair. I'm going to read Squad, or partially read it. I don't know if I'll finish the whole thing, but I'm gonna get as far as I can. Though I tend to read graphic novels like so fast, so I probably will just sit here and read the whole thing, and I'll meet you back. I just finished Squad. It was not what I expected at all. Like, pan back to me when I was saying like, oh, I think this is middle grade. This is not middle grade. This is like, for sure, I would maybe call it YA. They're in high school, but like, it's very gory and nothing, like, reading the synopsis of this in no way made me feel like I understood what was going to happen in this book, and I would have never picked it up if I would have known. And honestly, after reading like the first like couple pages, it's more than a couple, but after getting to like the first gory part, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can keep reading it, because it just like, ugh, I just don't like stuff like that, especially a graphic novel that's like drawn, illustrated, so there's pictures, not that they're like anything insane, but yeah, essentially, for this could be considered spoilers, so if you want to read this and be thoroughly surprised, skip ahead. But this is like the most unspoilery I can get while also describing what actually happens. But there's a girl named Becca. She starts a new school. It's like Mean Girls, but if they were werewolves, and the girls are werewolves, they have to change on the full moon, and on the full moon they like have to eat a person. They can't like eat animals or anything like that. Like, they have to eat an actual person. Ugh, it makes me so nauseous to even think about it. But she like finds out what they do. They invite her to join their squad, their pack. And so she does, because she wants to. There's also a little bit of romance thrown in there at the end that was unexpected, but I didn't mind it. I don't think it really added a ton to the story, but they have to eat people, like I said, and what they do is they like go to these parties and they lure boys to like the woods, and they're trying to find like not the nicest guys, like the seedy, probably gonna do something bad kind of guys, and those are who they try to lure out. Then something happens. I think it's actually in the back. So Thatcher, one of the characters, dies, and they kind of have to like change the way they're doing stuff because they're getting suspicious that like, okay, there's these teenage boys going missing and they all kind of match the same criteria. So they start like, at one point they eat a homeless person. Like, their rules start to slowly like dwindle off because they're hungry and they don't know what else to do. But that is the gist. I don't want to spoil like the end or really any of the other stuff for anyone who does want to read it, but I liked it and also did not like it. I just wish the synopsis on the back would have been way more descriptive of what it was. And like, I'm all for trigger warning pages in the front of the book, just to let you know. I don't think this one even had one. Yeah, not that I see. But I totally was expecting like this middle grade werewolf story, and that is not what this is. So if you go into it knowing that it's like definitely like mild horror, then you'll probably enjoy it, but it's just not my cup of tea. But okay, let's put a counter how many times I just said but, because I know that it was about 1,000,000. I'm going to end this Halloween vlog here, and first we'll do a little recap of all of the books that I read. So firstly, I read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Got that right first try, which I loved. Recommend. Please go pick it up. It is my favorite that I read out of the bunch. Second, I read The Goblet of Fire. I still have like 20 pages left. We can pretend I finished it. I have read it about 1,000,000 times, so it's almost as if I have finished it. And I read Squad. Most of these were like audio or digital books, but I do have my one physical. I read Squad, and then I also listened to about 30% or a quarter of, or a third, it doesn't really matter. I listened to a little bit of Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I do plan on finishing that for sure. I think I'm going to keep listening to it. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but it does seem good so far. I would say out of a couple days, 2 finished books is totally fine. I also made my cutesy little bookmark. So all in all, I feel as though this was successful and I had fun. But happy Halloween. I hope you have an amazing holiday because I love Halloween time. It is the best. Love little spooky. Love watching movies, eating candy. So I'm definitely going to be enjoying that. And I hope you guys do too. And if you don't celebrate Halloween, I hope you have a good Thursday because I think Halloween's on a Thursday this year. But I will see you guys next time and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!